Ziggity zig, back with another Griff venture of Griff. It's Friday, so we're watching the Griff ventures of Griff, and there he goes. Alright, decent split. Just to start off, this is Griff up against, that's not the right button at all, a person named KingJJM. 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 Yeah, that's okay. So, this is a PvP, and will be taking place on Ohana. Is this Ohana LE? Ohana? No, let's just not worry about the LEs. Okay, maybe I sound like a total rube when I say this, but what does the LE stand for? Limited edition? Licensed? I mean, some sort of ladder edition? Is it just that simple? It's just a ladder edition of the map? Because is there a big difference for tournaments? I mean, do you put some weird little supply depot down to the bottom of this, which I still have not fully understood? That's because I'm not very good at this game. So let's get ourselves off of the EPM. There's the initial pylon for Griff. KingJJ does not seem to be doing the exact same thing and is now supply blocked. So, wow, that's just solid. Oh, I see. It's going to be some kind of interesting forge. Maybe someone's been watching Apollo. So on Ohana, I'm not really sure if you can get away with a Forge FE on a two-player map. Few people bother to. I mean, these are the people who can actually get away with stuff like this. Is the people who have the micro. The pros who have the micro to do things. Then yes, by all means, put out things like that. Go for a very greedy build. If you can go for a high economy and defend at the same time, pretty much. I must say, personally, I cannot defend and do anything. I can't really do two things, period. So here comes Griff. He's going to come check out. This is the basic initial scout. JJ deciding not to scout whatsoever. So here comes Griff. I say it's a small map, but then that's actually a pretty long rush distance, and the probes are just gonna barely miss each other. Oh, it's like that time that you went to the mall and you're supposed to meet your friend, and you said, oh, we'll go to the food court. Did you say the upper food court or the lower food court? Oh, I meant the lower food court. Oh, it's such a shame, sour. So Griff does see that there's an expanded gateway going down, and he manages to just take a quick little peek around just to see there's no shenanigans going on, but an initial gateway does tell you that there's no cannon rush coming your way. Chances are there's a cybercore because Griff does like to wall off. And now he's going to try to get in the way, but he does not quite get in the way, and now it comes down to probe wars, and it looks like, I think Griff's going to win that. Yep, Griff's going to win. One more. Boosh. There we go. So, not too much scouting done by KingJJ. Griff, however, is getting quite a good scan, and learns that that is a gateway expand, or at least an outward gateway. So basically at this point we now need to find out what's going on with the rest of our units. Probably get another zealot right about now. Doesn't seem to be in the case. And oh, we have some chasing units because Griff is trying to get away and not losing a unit. There's 50 resources lost already for JJ, so that tells you something. Meantime, looking for that warp gate research to start, but I think Griff is probably doing a fair amount of... Yeah, there's all the micros happening over there on this little escaping probe. Now, meanwhile, I was just about to say let's have a look at the worker supply. It is a little bit ahead for KingJJ, but Griff decides, you know what, time for a starport. Because in seeing... There's a robotics facility, so we've got a robotics facility, and we've got a... Oh my goodness. Handle yo supply block-ins! Oh, the two of them, the absolute two of them are just having such a ruinous time with all of this supply blocking. Not a single pylon. There we go. Pylon finally on the way for KingJJ, so that actually means that KingJJ is watching that particular supply block issue. We're finally getting another pylon just there. Cannot make another single unit, which is a shame because the Stargate is done now. There we go. What are we going to do with the Stargate? You guessed it, nothing. Could have started a Phoenix a minute ago, but just was not quite ahead of the supply blocking. I shouldn't probably talk too much because I feel like I probably still supply block myself quite a bit, but I have gotten a little bit better, right? Maybe? No, probably not. That's a line, we all know it. So there's the Phoenix finally on its way. There is, and some more Chrono goes into that gateway. Looks like the unit, let's just have a quick peek. 24 for JJ probes and 21 workers for Griff, which means that JJ is just a little bit ahead on the units, or on the minerals incoming. Griff decides to go all the way around the back. I hope I don't have to say that sentence all that often. Looks like JJ might be looking for kind of a sneaky proxy pylon up here. There's a second Phoenix on its way south for Griff. There is a Stargate on the way. Oh, that's very interesting. JJ is making a Stargate as well. What do we have for units there, nothing, so not too worried. JJ's got a little sneaky probe up at the top, but nothing going on with that particular sneaky probe. Yay! More units that can only shoot downward, and some more supply blocking at 42. Griff is only ahead because he hasn't actually made it to that larger supply, but with this amount of units here, this is pretty decent. You can send the Zealots out. 3 Phoenix, I would have to say, are pretty decent, because then you come in here, you lift this up. For no reason. Actually, no, you go and lift up the Stalker. That would be way more fun. So these units here are in a small amount of trouble, but at the same time, so if you look at that, what's happening here is KingJJ is actually managing to do a gate robo. He's pulling off the Destiny Cloud Fist. This is a build that I actually tried to think about doing myself, the Destiny Cloud Fist build, which is 1 gate, 1 robotics, and 1 Stargate. Now, the issue here is that he's neglected the expansion, because you can really, you can fire away and do this on 2 bases, and the small problem, KingJJ is ahead in supply, but most of it is wrapped up in these 2 units that cannot shoot into the air. I'm going to unpause it, I'm sorry, that was kind of silly. So here comes, I'm going to say 4 Phoenix are on their way in, and it makes me think that these 2 Phoenix are probably just not going to last very long, especially if they come to the west. Oh, it looks, and KingJJ is just starting to move his units out, and just at that exact same moment, Griff did not even have a scan or an observer in on that, but he just happened to have incredibly good luck just then, comes in. Let's see how many units we're going to lose here. 2, 3, that's a fair amount. Here comes a 5th Phoenix down there. KingJJ is starting to think about it, and now he's starting to think base race, because up here we did get the... Oh, well, 5 against... Yeah, the warp pylon did complete up here. There's a forge for whatever reason. So I think what this is telling us is that people with really, really low APM like to do some kind of strange Destiny Cloud Fist build. So here are some units down here, and Griff should be not quite on top of this. He's probably microing all of his units. Microwing his Phoenix at the moment. Decides to avoid that entirely. So what is the one I'm looking for? Control R. Workers killed 8. Not a bad number. However, losing out on the rest of his units up here. He's on 3 gate Stargate, so kind of a 4 gate. But these 5 Phoenix are going to take care of the rest of this. Probably want to pick off the air unit, or the air shooting unit. This is kind of an interesting choice here on Griff's behalf, but it does polish off the rest of the army. Meantime, not a lot being built down here. There is a forge, and there's a small amount of units still on their way down here. Oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. The warp gate is still not completed, still on 1 gate. Griff definitely getting into a sizable economy at the moment. Got quite a lot of cash. Not seeing this over here, but I really don't think that's going to be all that dangerous. Brings a few units back up into the main base, still making some Phoenix, so this is pretty much the extent of the army. Here is the extent of the hotkeys for KingJJ. Might need to just go on straight up JJ, because I don't know who he's the king of at this point. However, the monarchy is sliding slightly, and we get a bit more in the way of army at the front gate. Nothing else happening out of this robotics facility. Probably realizes, like I usually do, that when someone comes at you with air, the robotics facility is completely useless. Unless, of course, you start using warp prisms, and if you have the micro to do so, go for it. But if you're someone like me, don't even bother. There we go. So we have Griff is still just sort of weaving back and forth, making his way back down here, checking for additional bases, which is an excellent move. Despite the fact that he sort of missed this one up here, but there's not really anything that's going to happen up the top. Forge up at the top in order to defend down at your south base. That's the way to do things. 4 Phoenix versus 3 Phoenix. This looks like kind of a losing battle, but then again, it's all down to micro and a few different things like that. Trading back and forth. Griff is finally getting a expansion down and a couple more gateways somewhere. There we go. Still back in the base, and still with a decent composition of units. That's 3, 3, and 3 right here at the front. This probe has been holding this for Xel'Naga Tower this entire time, still seeing nothing down there in JJ's base, but this is actually, well, the army supply of Griff is still ahead. The worker supply is about on par. Griff probably wants to get a little bit more macro on the way. Double gas definitely being taken there. at the main base, but only looks like a single gas for the moment at the natural. Now, don't see a split of probes just yet. However, continued. I think he might be rallying over to the Phoenix for continued Phoenix production. This is just the strangest little mini base I've seen in quite some time. So here comes the remainder, still warping in some more units. So Griff just working on that army supply, waiting to have enough. This is usually my Achilles heel, is I don't wait for a large enough army, but then of course once I do that, I end up against something like battle cruisers, or I don't know, you should probably have a fleet beacon and 4 carriers coming at you, but it looks like they're just going to stick with the, oh, it's going to be Void Rays. Here come the Void Rays and a fair amount of ground air units. So mixing in the Void Rays or Phoenix Immortal seems like it would be kind of an interesting decision. You can attack air and ground at the same time, or Colossus, whatever you want to do, but I've never been able to make things like this work. So this is definitely a Destiny Cloudfist build, because only one of each production facility is what we've got right now. Finally on a warp gate, finally on something that can do some damage. And a few more units, nothing else being built out of this robotics facility. All the money going into the Stargate currently, which you'd think you'd want to have a few more probes in, but Griff is definitely taking the lead in the probe count, if only by a small amount, following out and seeing the rest of this unit. So Griff deciding that maybe he should head back home once more because of a cannon. We come over here. Yep, there are quite a few cannons in there, so it doesn't look like Griff's going to be able to do much from that point of view. But with this army here, and I keep wanting to say J.J. Abrams, so KingJJ's army on its way up. Griff definitely taking sort of a command in this game with a 36 EPM coming out to a 47 APM. Man. And here come the units. There goes a Guardian Shield on both sides. Enough Stalkers on Griff's side to take out these Phoenix without having to worry about them too much, but these Void Rays, you should probably try to power them down with the Phoenix. Pretty much all the units in their entirety to get rid of that. Yeah, now we're down to 50. There is another round of warp-ins. That's going quite well. Griff keeping the rest of the economy quite low now because it got up to a point, and then just finished off with a few more. Oh, there's air weapons 1 coming in for KingJJ. JJ is probably not sure what he's going to do here. I assume he, because it's a king. You could probably get a female king, I don't know, but you probably go with Queen JJ. In which case I would say she. That's just how I roll. Oh, aiming to take out the Artosis pylon, but not managing to at the moment. There's another Artosis pylon down here. The Griff is just starting to focus down. There we go. Taking out the pylon instead of the 2 cannons, and that will mean the end of this base down here, because there's definitely not anything else coming up from down there. Yep, JJ not even able to work on the remainder. There's a Twilight Council and a few other things just going up in the main base, but for the most part, completely mined out. Not even fully saturated after moving down to the second base, and not quite as defended as you'd wanted to be. I like that little kind of buzzing, the gateway, Jacob's Ladder effect going on right there. And of course, here is the most effective probe in the world, made of pylon, made of forge. It allowed for cannon construction back home, but round in the front lines, it didn't really end up being all that much good. That was the Griffventure of Griff number 20, something like that. If you want some more ridiculous adventures from myself and that guy Griff, you can check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/limenotlemon. But leave me a comment down below, send me an email, ziggyziggy@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at ZiggyStarCraft. Yeah, stay tuned.